Hi! So I had posted a photo on my Instagram saying that if they asked questions, I would answer them. So it's been a couple days and now I have all those questions coming in and I'll answer them for you. Okay, so starting from the top. Miss Fitness Princess, love her. She asked, how do you mentally accept the changes your body is going through during bulking? Me personally, I hate it and I'm not even bulking for real. Just have myself more calories to focus on building my legs and also a mental break from dieting. How did I accept the changes? It took a while. And I still have days where I avoid the mirror at all costs and I'll feel like crap going to the gym just because I feel fat. But at the same time, I saw myself getting stronger and I saw myself relaxing more. Like if I want to go get something like a sub, I'll go get a sub because I'm not dieting and I'm not in prep, and if I want it, I'll go have it. And actually, I lost a lot of my appetite because I noticed that there wasn't like this scarcity of food, and if I had to eat my food, I honestly would miss meals and avoid eating just because I wasn't hungry, because mentally I wasn't hungry either. So it's just, I don't know, I'm not lean, but I also know that I look way better than I did before I even started lifting and caring about dieting at all. So because of that, I know that I might not be like the best I've ever looked, but I'm also not the worst I've ever looked. So that kind of makes me feel better. Another question from Darlin Coco. Can you make the best calf exercises video? I don't train my calves, so I don't know. How long do you bulk and how long do you shred typically? Also, what do you take for a pre-workout and how is your flexibility? Flexibility used to be really good because I'm a retired figure skater. Now it's and I need to start stretching more because I know it would only help my lifts. But how long do you bulk and how long do you shred? Because I'm jumping from bikini all the way to physique, my bulk has been basically a year. Normally it shouldn't be longer than a few months if you're just trying to build just a smaller body part, but I needed to make a gigantic switch in my whole entire body, and so naturally you're gonna need a little bit of time. And how long do you shred? It's Rob says hi. I usually cut for 20 weeks. The first prep I ever did was about that long too. And just it gives me more time to have cheat meals progressing into the show, and then I have a hard 12-week diet where I go all out. But naturally, I usually give myself 20 weeks to get ready. What are your 3 favorite bad foods and what are your 3 favorite healthy foods? From Lana Banana Fitness. Love her too. 3 favorite bad foods. Cheeseburgers. Messy subs. I love subs, but yeah. Ice cream isn't a food. Yeah, I guess ice cream is good, dessert-wise. And 3 favorite healthy foods. I like protein pancakes. That counts as a food group, but favorite 3 healthy foods. I don't know. I think maybe fruit, salmon, yes, and fruit's too broad. Okay, mango, no, grapefruit, salmon, and sweet potato. There we go. Rob goes disgusting. Also, Lana asked, what are the challenges of living with another bodybuilder? Or does it make things easier? Considering you both may have your own goals, are at different points, one bulking, one not, etc., etc. Rob, do you want to chip in on that one? Well, come here. Do you want to chip in? What are the challenges of living with another bodybuilder, or does it make things easier? What do you think? Right here. Say hi.
Hello. I don't know. I'd say it's easier overall because you both have similar goals, and you're both spending time in the gym. You're both eating similar foods, so we prep our food together. There's no arguing about are you going to the gym today or you're not. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We both want to do that. Um, also, we both understand why we're doing it. So I mean, we might argue and stuff like that, but it's usually if one of us is in a bad mood from prep or from dieting or whatever the case is. Usually off season, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, yeah, I'd say it's easier. I mean, I couldn't do it any other way, really. So.
And considering we both may have our own goals, like at different points, and I was bulking and you were cutting at a certain point,
Right.
that was hard because I was like having my cheat meals of like McDonald's in front of him, and he was like, and then, or I would make like an actually like healthy meal, but like high calorie, and he was just like, oh my God, that's so much food, I want it. And so that was hard for him because he would be like sitting there eating his like cup and a half of egg whites and like be set for the night, and I would have like an egg omelet with a ton of different like oily vegetables and tons and tons of like 10 ounces of potato, and I'd just be like eating it in front of him, and he's like, So, and then I would also like go and buy Ben and Jerry's in front of him, and he was just not having that. So this time around, I'll be cutting and he'll be bulking, and so that'll be like hard on me because I'll have to kind of watch him eat his junk food, and he like loves his junk food. So, but I also am a little bit of a happier person when I'm dieting. I might not be super happy that he's eating like that, but I'll also be happier overall because I'll be able to see like a shredded body, and I'll just be like, I don't want that because I have abs. Are you happy with your results during your bulk, or do you wish you would have taken the slow and steady, lean approach to growth? I'm happy because if I took the slower approach and stayed lean and like reverse dieted, I'm sure I would have had pretty good gains, and I'm sure it wouldn't make a huge difference, but for the physique that I'm going for, I needed to just like let go and just eat and grow. And that's the only way that you can make like quick gains like that. If I wanted to maybe compete in figure first and then see how I looked then and then compete again next year in physique, that would be another story. I would have probably stayed a pretty lean considering and try and like watch my body change. But because I knew I was going from small bikini girl to straight up physique and like want to compete like on a national level once I'm qualified, I knew I needed to make like a drastic body composition change. And you can't do that while staying lean. Sorry. For anyone that says to stay in between 10 pounds, like...
Yeah, you can't. That's a waste of time. I mean, I just think that it's not really beneficial to try to stay super lean. I mean, unless you model or you have some kind of contract.
If you're sponsored by someone, don't mess that up because they actually sought you out. They give you free like company stuff. That's awesome, and they're like helping you. I would not know.
If you're trying to put on muscle, I mean, there's so many videos on it. The best way to put on muscle and the only way to put on muscle is to eat more calories than you burn. If you're staying lean, you're not doing that. And even if you're like enhanced and stuff like that, it's still the quickest way to put muscle on is to gain weight and lift hard and get stronger and eat those foods that are going to put that muscle on. If you're not, it's just not going to happen. Or it might happen like, let's say I'm not competing again for like a year and 8 months, right? Could I stay lean and put on like a pound here, a pound there, a pound there? Yeah, that's fine, but I don't want to do that. I want to make drastic changes to my body between the last time I competed and the next time I competed. And the way that's going to be done is to do kind of drastic things, to put on a lot of weight, lift a lot heavier, and make sure that your body has a reason to change. If it doesn't have a reason to change, it's not going to. It gets used to that lean physique. It gets used to lifting the same weight, and I will. That's another story. But that's ideally, absolutely the best way to train is to be progressively getting stronger. If you're not progressively getting stronger, I promise you your physique's not changing. Unless you're dieting, obviously,
Yeah.
and you're
But if
losing
you're
the
trying to
fat,
build
but you're not
muscle,
building muscle. You're just
no.
losing the fat to showcase the muscle you already built by getting stronger
Yeah.
and adding weight to the bar. And if you're benching 135 and 3 years later you're benching 135, I promise there's not going to be
No.
a very big change in your physique overall.
Like during Christmas, I was having a hard time. Finally, like I broke that plateau of 135-pound bench press, and I was like barely lifting like a real like chest, like bar to chest and up, and now I can do 8 clean reps, and that was only like less than a month, and so I know that I got stronger, and that's the progression you want to be making. So more reps or more weight.
One thing to that is like it only does so much good if you put on a lot of strength and a lot of size and lose it during prep. That's not what you want to do. I mean, I obviously the last 3 weeks, whatever, somewhere around there of prep, if you're in, the shape you need to be. For me, I haven't been shredded the way I need to be, so my last week of prep and my last 2 weeks were getting really tough. But it should be from about 3-4 weeks out where you really start to feel really, really run down. Then your strength is not going to be as good. But if you're starting at 16 or 20 weeks out, and your strength is continuously dropping the whole prep, you're almost undoing everything that you did in the off season. So in that point, then people would have the right to say, well, it was stupid to put on so much weight because you're basically not holding that same strength and that same muscle that you gained with the weight. So that's why I think it's best to diet slow. Next time for me, it's 20 weeks, 100%, because I just need that time. And even if I'm ready in 16, you just want that extra time.
Yep. So next question. Do you lift heavy, heavy, heavy every time you train? No. Sometimes I go in for just a pump. Sometimes I go in for numbers. And so normally I'll pick like one really like strength-wise exercise. Like I'll start with barbell and I'll try and like max out on barbell. If I'm doing squats, the squats will be like where I go all out and try and like go crazy. If I'm doing shoulders, the like dumbbell press will be where I go all out. And so sometimes I'll just pick like one exercise, and then after that I'll do like just pump stuff, like 15 reps, like good form, rest pause, and sometimes I'll throw in like supersets. But once you start doing supersets, you're obviously not getting like the most strength out of you. So usually I'll pick one exercise where I go all out, and then the rest are just like complementing exercises. I promise you, if you can do like max outs on every single exercise your whole entire workout, you're probably not training as hard as you think you can. Fit Leggy Maggie, what made you decide to make the jump to physique? Excellent question. Once I was like in the middle of my 2 shows right before I did my first bikini show, I was really considering figure because everyone's like, you're too hard for bikini. And after I did the first show, I was like, no, I'm gonna get a boob job. I'm gonna go like to nationals. I'm gonna do bikini. And then I started training a little harder throughout that 2-month period before my next show. And as I kept training harder, I was like, you know what? Like, I have to keep on doing so much running and eating so little in order to not put on muscle. And what fun is that, not seeing my body change? And people were actually telling me that I needed to soften up and like lose my abs in order to place well. And it was just like really weird. And so I thought to myself, like, okay, what can I do that'll always be something challenging, and what division would really complement the way that I train? And it's physique. And figure I also have a lot of respect for, but I also know that there's a place in figure where once you're too big, you're too big. And so I don't want to ever hit that point. I always want to be challenging myself, and physique just is the right up my alley because I'll never be good enough until I am. And even then, like, it's just it's so hard to get to that level. And so I know that I have myself set up to always be challenged. If you could be any animal, what would you be and why? A dog. What superpower would you want to have? I'd love to be invisible. That way I could, like, walk around, do whatever I want. What is the luckiest thing that has ever happened to you? This guy. Where would you go in a time travel machine? I'd probably go, like, back to when I was, like, 18 and tell myself to stop making stupid decisions. Okay. All those are over. I'm trying to put on muscle, bulk up, but I just cannot eat enough. I'm not hungry and I'm force feeding. Do you recommend a high-calorie post-shake? I already do my whey with creatine and BCAAs. So Rob and I are actually, like, having a really hard time getting food down, and so sometimes if that's the case, I do recommend throwing in, like, a cheat meal, like a small cheat meal every couple days, because there's certain points this past couple weeks where I haven't been able to get more than 1,600 calories in because I'll just be running around, working, forgetting to eat, have, like, a quick, like, 25-gram protein shake, and it's just, like, hard for me to get it all in. So I'll add up everything, and it's like 1,300 calories, and I'll be like, well, let me just throw in some Pop-Tarts. And so if that's the case, I highly recommend putting, like, high-calorie, like, quick digesting stuff, probably, like, post-workout or breakfast. Like, breakfast and post-workout are the 2 times where I recommend having, like, fast-acting foods. Like, have some cereal, have some Pop-Tarts, or do something. Schedule a cheat meal, like, 2 to 3 times a week. And space it out. Like, have it under, like, back day, leg day, and then have a day that you eat something on, like, a high cardio day. But I do recommend, like, a gainer shake if you really have a hard time.
Yeah, the shakes, yeah, definitely. I use one myself. It's from True Nutrition. It's called Cyclo Gainer, which is just like protein carb mix. And then usually I'll even add some. Well, if I make it in the blender, I'll do peanut butter. If not, I'll do like olive oil in it, which is kind of gross, but it's
That's so dusty.
extra fat calories and stuff like that. And basically, it's hard to eat a lot. I mean, for me, if I weigh, weighing like a little over 250. So not that I'm just trying to gain weight for the sake of gaining weight, but I need a certain amount of food to, like, fuel my workouts the way that I know they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to eat, and I do a lot of shakes, and I do a lot of what you could do is, if you don't want, like, a weight gainer shake, like, if it's expensive, you can make your own. You could just get whey protein, like cheap whey protein. You could put some of the quick digesting oats in there. And, like, kind of let it dissolve, and then put some olive oil in there or something, and then kind of let it sit and just drink and chew at the same time, which is kind of easier than eating, like, I think it's easier than eating chicken and rice and all that stuff, because that stuff just gets really boring and difficult to get down. I mean, try to make your food taste as best as it can. Barbecue sauces, different sauces and stuff like that. The calories in that aren't going to make a difference. I mean, you don't need to eat plain food, like, if you're dieting, yeah, then you're going to want to eat, like, 0-calorie sauces and seasonings and things like that. But if not, you could afford to get away with eating a little bit more, stuff that tastes good, as opposed to just choking down, clean food just to say that you eat clean food.
So next question. Okay. What will you do differently when in the shred stage? Well, each time I've ever prepped, I've worked with a coach, and I think that's just crucial, especially because even if you know your stuff, it's good to have another eye. So I'll be hiring our friend Dom, and he actually coaches a few people, and he always gets people shredded. But his big thing is cheat meals. Like, yeah. So his big thing is, like, once a week, you have a cheat meal. And, like, it's an hour window. And then another thing he does is just, like efficient cardio. Not, like, overwhelming cardio, but he puts enough cardio to where it will make a difference, and then you also have room to like put in more cardio as the show gets closer and closer. I was doing like an hour at 12 weeks out, and then we actually cut it back and stuff last time with someone else, but it was overwhelming. And so something different, I'll be just lifting heavier, eating a little bit more, and I'll be using a little bit of fat burners and stuff. But yeah, so last time I was like completely like didn't even take like Super HD in my first prep. But after the second prep, I did take Super HD and CLK because I had eaten a lot of food in my little peak week or post show week, and so I had a few like pounds of fat to shut off, but I was back to show weight within like 2 weeks. But it definitely, the Super HD and CLK definitely gave me enough energy to go through my cardio after having been dieting almost half a year at that point. And so the Super HD I love fat burners just for like the energy. It gives me so much that I can do cardio for hours. So, is there something you tell yourself every morning that just gets you ready to work? Building your body and mind. How did you get past missing your shreds? Being patient with your gains. I don't really tell myself anything, which I should like start putting different type of like motivational stuff in my life, like pictures of myself shredded, stuff that can kind of get me moving. But right now I really don't need to motivate myself too much because I'm not in prep. But during prep, I always just like started my day with cardio. That was just what I did. And then anytime that I didn't feel like doing it, I always just kind of like looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, how did you get this way? Oh, dedication, doing what I was told to do. And so I just did it. And so how did I get past missing my shreds? I thought of like what I had to sacrifice in order to get shredded, and it just wasn't even worth it at certain points where I was like, you know what? I was missing out on a lot of like good food and like being able to enjoy life with Rob and friends. And after a little while, it was like, you know what? I might not be shredded, but I look like the average person, and the average person still asks me like, "Oh my God, you have an amazing body. What do you do?" And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like fat considering like what's going on in the fitness industry. But the average Joe just like sees that you have some shoulders and big quads, and they want your exercise program, and that's pretty cool that you don't look fat to them. So I just had to like get a more realistic look in my head. Ashlyn goes Chipotle versus Taco Bell. Chipotle. Leanna says, what is your dream life? I want a lot of money with my real estate, and I want to travel the world, and I want to live in a big house, and every few months go on vacations because we can. And my pro card. Mentally, how do you deal with setbacks in lifting? So I guess I'll take that as like when you feel weak and don't really feel like lifting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to deal with it. And not every single workout's going to be the best
No.
workout. Trust me, the
Not at
longer
all.
that you do it, the more you're going to have those days where you just really don't feel good. And you kind of just got to, I mean, if you really know that it's not your day, just switch up what you're doing. Like if you were gonna say, "Oh, I want to do a heavy chest day or leg day," but you feel like crap, don't go do that heavy. I mean, switch it up. Do more reps. Do something
Yeah.
light. Just
If you don't feel good going in, you're probably not going to feel good leaving. And so just try and make your workout based on how you're feeling. If I'm feeling really drained from working, like we'll have days where we don't get to the gym till like 10:30 at night. And sometimes those are the days where I'm like, you know what, this doesn't have to be a waste of a workout. I'm obviously not going to be super strong. I'm yawning every set. I'm just going to do like 20 rep exercises and just go for a pump and get a good sweat. And sometimes those are the best workouts.
yeah, you got to just know your body and learn your body and stuff. And I never really recommend like off time. I mean, like deload weeks or something like that. Because I don't know, like I've had workouts where I thought it was going to be terrible, and you're walking to the gym, you know, when I was in New York, or driving to the gym and whatever, and you're like, man, this is gonna suck. I don't know what. And then you get in there, all of a sudden you feel great, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to go light today, but you know, I ended up hitting a new record or something. So I kind of just take every workout as it comes. I mean, I obviously know what body part I'm training that day. I kind of have an idea of the exercises. Sometimes I know exactly what I want to do, and then but I'll go in there and kind of adjust based on how I'm feeling as the workout goes on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's just, you know, one workout might suck. I mean, I had a really good one Monday and Tuesday. Then last night I felt like crap. So
Yep.
hopefully today it comes back, and then hopefully it stays. But you know, you're not gonna feel great every single day.
Bree Moth says, how did you find balance for prep? I find myself thinking about my meals and workouts 24/7. Did you feel this way, or were you able to still feel like you had a normal life while prepping? Rob never feels normal when he's prepping. I was working like 9 to 7 every day, basically, with Mondays being the only day off. And that was my food prep and laundry day. And I knew that's what I had to get done on my day off. Like, I couldn't just lounge. And there was like the rare occasion where I did my laundry on like a Saturday night if I got off work early. But that was like a rare occasion. And then I would be like, all I have to do is food prep. And I'd be in there for like 4 hours. But no, I mean, I was pretty good about not being on like this super like, oh my god, I'm chewing so much gum, I need to get my water in, I'm freaking out. But I just ate when I was hungry, which was every 3 hours, and I made sure all my food was in like a plastic bag, sectioned out, like 3 ounces ground beef, 3 ounces ground turkey, 3 ounces chicken, 4 ounces sweet potato, cup of broccoli, cup of green beans, and I would grab like, okay, I'm gonna be out for the day, 3 chickens, three sweet potato, 3 things of broccoli, and I would just put all that in the bag and be like, and I would make my meals. But I am a very like easygoing person. I don't get stressed out too bad, but um, there were days where I was like, ooh, like I'm not normal anymore, and I want to be able to go and do this and do that, but I can't because I have hours of cardio to do, and I have to eat perfect and drink my 2 gallons. And that was hard, but at the same time, like, I was pretty normal, right? Like, I was pretty good. I'm really good when it comes to prep, but in the off season, I'm just kind of like, because I don't have order in my food, I'm like not a very like organized person at all. Like, I need order in my life in order to be like ordery, like have order other places too. But Rob, on the other hand, when he's dieting, like if he's basically dieting right now without even knowing it, because he'll like have no appetite and be like, oh, I guess I'll have a shake. Oh, I guess I'll have this. And then some days we'll go out to eat and stuff. Like we just went to Jimmy John's today. But without even thinking, it's like hard for Rob to get food in. But the second that he's in prep, it's like this light bulb goes off in his head, and he's like, food, food, food. I need my food, and it's just like craziness.
It's like when you can't have anything, you don't really want it. Then when you're like basically you know you can't,
yeah,
then you start craving it and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like prep is not. I mean, that's why you have to be fully ready to do a show. Like if you're 16 weeks out, if you're 20 weeks out, you need to literally say, okay, look, for the next 4 or 5 months, I'm really not going to be having too much of a social life.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to be...
And that's where it comes down to who your friends are, too.
Yeah, I'm really not going to be, like, obviously eating too much, you know, that I enjoy, other than a cheat meal once a week, or maybe not once a week, depending on the situation. But, yeah, you kind of have to be ready to do that. And one of the reasons why I'm not prepping for a long time, the main reason being I just have to make huge improvements and get a lot bigger, and then obviously come in shape the next time. But pretty much, you know, we're trying to start our real estate careers and everything, and I just, you know, you could always lift hard and eat enough to grow and stuff like that. That's no problem because I don't have to stick to a strict 100% regimen where I got to eat this at this time and this, and do an hour of cardio and hour and a half of cardio and train every, you know, if I miss a training day now, it's like, okay, I'll push it back till tomorrow. I still try not to
Yeah.
because I still want to get to the gym. But like if it ever happens, it's not the end of the world. During prep, I'd probably freak out about it. You
Yeah.
know, I'll join like a 24-hour gym when prep happens, just so there's no doubt that I could always make it in there. And she'll probably do that or something. Well, we have a treadmill in the house,
Yeah.
but
And I'm really good about if I know that I'm going to be out, I'll schedule my workout to be 9 p.m. at night. Like, if I'm showing houses at 9, there's a problem. But I'm really good about, like, okay, I know I have a lot to do today, and I probably won't have time to do cardio later, and I probably won't want to do cardio. So I'll hit a whole hour right now at 7 a.m. Like, I'll do that. And Rob needs, like, some food in his body, and he needs to psych himself up for, like, an incline walk. So, it's not easy for him.
no, but it's not like a normal thing to do a bodybuilding show or prep for a bodybuilding show. So no, it's kind of hard to have the same social life or the same balance that you'd have in the off season, obviously. But I don't know. You kind of just got to know it's temporary, and just if that's what you want to do, just fully stick to it. And
Yep.
obviously, you'll have friends that understand you.
Yeah, and have friends that understand you. Because if all your friends are out partying and eating whatever they want, and you're the loser that's at the gym, chances are you're probably going to quit because you want to be out hanging out with your friends. So all of our friends, they know bodybuilding. Even if they don't compete, they know of the lifestyle, and they don't judge you for not going to the gym because chances are they're at the gym. Like, no, all of our friends are at the gym, so it's not really that hard for us to do anything. I actually feel like a loser for not sticking to a diet sometimes. Like, they'll be like, oh, what's your cheat meal this week? And I'm like, what's my cheat meal every day?
I already have
Like,
one,
yeah. So, I mean, like, that's just the lifestyle that we've chosen to follow, and so it's really nice because we're the fatties that eat everything, and, like,
Well,
yeah.
now one more thing too is like I don't like to go places and like bring my food with me and like make a scene of it. Like I don't like that. Like
And I won't either. If I'm if I'm invited to a party and I actually really want to go, I have no problem like bringing a protein shake and having it in a coffee mug and drinking it.
Well,
And if
that's
someone
fine,
says,
whatever.
"Do you want to have something?" I go, "I'm not hungry." And so, like, I don't make a scene because I'll just put it in a liquid form and ta-da, I have my meal in a coffee mug and no one even knows. And so it's not like I'm drawing attention to myself. Rob, on the other hand, because he has, like, such a, like, mental, like, state of dieting, and he, like, the second he knows he's dieting, switch goes off, he needs to have his, like, time where it's, like, mealtime and fork, sitting at a desk, like, not... I'll just put it in a liquid form or have it in a plastic bag and just shoot it down.
I mean, when I first start dieting, it's fine because I'm not that hungry.
Yeah.
When it gets down to it, and more, and I don't want to drink a shake. It's like water. I might as well have not had anything. As it is, it takes me literally about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to eat my meals when I get into prep. Like, I'm not kidding. So I really just like to do that in peace. And if we ever do go somewhere, I bring my stuff in the car.
Yeah,
Obviously
car.
to work, I have no problem, obviously. But I'm talking about like movies, baseball games. Sometimes it's like too much. It's like more trouble than it's worth for me during prep to go if you can't really enjoy yourself if you're dieting and stuff.
Video's getting long. Do you wear your engagement ring while lifting? No. I put it in like this little pocket that I have in my bag. It's like a pen pocket, but I just put my ring in there, and then I'll forget to even put it back on. So Rob would be like, "Where's your ring?" Did you ever develop amenorrhea during prep during your eating disorder years? If so, what did you do to get it back? I.e., what's your approximate body fat percentage? Did you have to ease up your workouts, up your calories? I ask because I have a history with bulimia and I haven't had period for 4 years. My bones are probably in atrocious condition. I'm up to my pre-eating disorder weight and definitely not too lean. I just wanted to know if you've ever been down this road. Luckily, no. I did lose it 1 month, and that was my last month of dieting. And then right after I started eating again, it came back. But, I mean, I would get checked out. I would go to a doctor and get checked out because that is serious and it's not good. So, how to deadlift properly. Watch videos. I can't really demonstrate right here. But if you watch some videos, there's really good tutorials on YouTube, but I would make sure that you're not rounding your back, because then that's just going to mess everything up. So don't do it improperly. Like, go watch some videos. How'd you get so lean? Hard work. That's how. I stuck to my diet. I did every single thing that my coach told me to, and I just did it with no questions asked. And I put a smile on my face, and I didn't stress over it, and I just freaking did it. Like, I don't know. I always just like went a little bit above and beyond. If someone told me to do 45 minutes cardio, I did an hour. But if someone told me to do 12 reps, I did 15. If someone told me to do 3 sets, I did 4. I always just went a little above and beyond, and that got me in shape like that. What is your opinion on intermittent fasting? I think it's great if that's what works for you. I don't think I could do that because I like to have my meals the second that I wake up. I like to have enough food in me before I train, and I know that intermittent fasting talks about how you do like a fasted workout and then you like eat. I guess it might be good for dieting, but just like not for my goals. How do you see your veins in your body, especially your stomach? That that's just like getting to a very lean spot. I had been dieting, like I said, for about 20 weeks before my first show, and after that it was just like vein city. I was always like vascular and stuff, and I loved it, but at the same time, like, you have to be shredded, and that's an unhealthy shredded. Like, you have to be so lean that you just like any minute now you'll like pass out. No, it shouldn't be that unhealthy, but probably after like 8% body fat, that's when you just like see veins everywhere. And so you shouldn't maintain that longer than probably a few months. But that's all the questions. And maybe I'll start doing this a little bit more. If you want me to do more, definitely let me know on here or Facebook or Instagram, and I'll do more. All right. Bye.